Here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we're working on a global theme for 2022. And the theme is Living Everyday Wonder. And it's through our exploration of each month's topic that we look at a different area of our life and begin to build a greater sense of wonder, joy, awe in everything that we do. Our theme for the month of April is creativity. And this happens to be one of my favorite topics. Real creativity is an act of expression. It's not about the product or the performance. It doesn't matter how you choose to be creative, as long as you're willing to express that creative urge that is within you, that is longing for you to bring it forth. There is something deep within each one of us that is wanting to be expressed through this act of creativity. And so our talk title today is Say Yes to the Yes. And the yes that we're talking about here is that creative impulse within each and every one of us. It is saying yes to that within you, which is longing to see itself expressed through you. Now, one of my favorite authors is Elizabeth Gilbert. She's best known for her work, Eat, Pray, and Love. But my favorite book of hers is Big Magic. This is a book all about creativity, all about being willing to say yes to that divine spark within you that is waiting for you to bring it forth. She says that creativity is an act of courage. It's an act of allowing yourself to be vulnerable. My favorite quote from her book is this: "Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden inside of you?" You know, the universe buries all kinds of strange jewels within each one of us, and then it stands back to see if we can find them. And this hunt to uncover these jewels, that's what's called creative living. And the courage to go on the hunt in the first place, that is what separates a mundane existence from a more enchanted one. So my question for you today is, do you have the courage to say yes? To say yes to that creative impulse that is within each and every one of us in one way or another. You know, creativity is one of the most fundamental principles of science of mind, a philosophy that we practice here at Centers for Spiritual Living. We believe that creativity is who and what we really are. We are birthed from a creative source that is limitless in its power and scope. In our CSL Global Vision, which is a revision of the Declarations of Principles and the Science of Mind concepts, it states, "We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought, a world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone." You know, creativity is such a core belief in our philosophy. It is how everything came to be. From this one loving creative intelligence, every single thing has been brought forth into existence. The divine expresses itself through the process of creativity, through creating, through bringing forth into manifestation that which was in thought, but without form. Each and every individual, every one of us, is a creative expression of that one love intelligence. And because we know that we are endowed with everything that God is, we are capable of manifesting our thoughts into form. We are in actual partnership with the divine. It creates us, then it creates through us. That's how Spirit experiences life, through each one of us individually, through our creative thought, through our creative expression, through our creative acts. That's how Spirit experiences life here on earth. But this can only happen if you're willing to say yes. If we are willing to hunt for that hidden treasure buried deep within us and bring it forth, then we can be the place through which God shows up. We can be the place through which Spirit experiences life. The author Michael Singer wrote a book about this willingness to say yes. He called it the surrender experiment. He says this: "Do whatever is put in front of you with all of your heart and soul, without regard for personal results. Do it as though it were given to you by the universe itself, because it was." We are constantly creating our lives, whether we're aware of it or not. And the universe so lovingly creates that it is constantly giving us opportunities to create. We create when we work, when we play, when we cook, when we build, when we are in relationship with others, when we are making any kind of choices in our life, we are actually using that creative process. And we actually create our own experience through this. And the universe only ever has one answer to any of our thoughts. And that answer is yes. We create through our thought, and each thought we think is a creative expression. And the universe always responds with a yes. So if I wake up in the morning and I say, I am going to have a fabulous day, the universe says yes. And when I wake up in the morning and I say, this is such a lousy day, the universe says yes. This is why our founder, Ernest Holmes, stressed the importance of monitoring our thought and left us with the motto, change your thinking, change your life. If we change how we look at things, because our thoughts are created, and if we change how we think about them, then we can change the experience we have. I know just for saying those two simple sentences that I just said, I'm going to have a fabulous day, and this is going to be a lousy day. I can feel a difference within my being when I say those, because I know that these thoughts are creative, and that I can choose to experience life the way I want to experience it. This ability to bring forth into expression, to create, to have different conditions in our lives is a dynamic force. It is constantly in motion and it is powerful. In the practical applications of the science of mind, Ernest Holmes writes this: there is an irresistible, universal, and divine urge within us to be happy, to be whole, and to express the fullness of life. The latent divinity within us stirs our imagination and proclaims itself through every creative endeavor. It has produced sages, saints, and saviors, and will, when permitted, create a world which war, poverty, sickness, and famine will have disappeared. I don't know about you, but I think we're still experiencing quite a bit of these things. It isn't always as easy as we think. It isn't simply a matter of making a statement and having that be manifested into our experience. There needs to be force and feeling and conviction behind these statements for them to come into our experience. Ernest Holmes wrote that quote that I just read over 70 years ago. He spoke of creating a world which war, poverty, sickness, and famine will have disappeared. But here we are, 70 years later, and all of those things still exist. In fact, we've spent the last 2 years dealing with a global sickness which has killed hundreds of thousands of people and produced all kinds of unwanted conditions. And in the last 2 months, another war has been started in our world. Now, I know without a doubt that there are conscious people everywhere who have been using their creative energies in the form of prayer to release these conditions. And yet we're still experiencing them. Why is that? Well, it goes back to what we've known for over 2,000 years. It is done unto you as you believe. And our creative expression is limited by our thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. The yes that we must be willing to say is a yes to going beyond these limiting beliefs, going beyond our past experiences, going beyond the race consciousness thoughts that permeate our lives, whether we're aware of them or not. There is no power in what has come before unless we give it power. And the principles that are at play here are not bound by any precedent unless we let them be. They are only ever limited by our past experiences and our old beliefs when we allow them to operate in our lives. When we give a place for the limiting beliefs that we have experienced in our lives, a place to operate, then that's what's going to be our experience. It limits anything else that we say. It negates any positive thought that we might have had because we're still working on two planes here. We're working on this belief that these things are still possible and they still exist. And then we're working with this idea of almost a false hope that this can be better. And so when we are doing that, we are contradicting ourselves. And our experiences are then limited by that. We exist to allow the divine to express through us. That's what we're here for. We exist to be a creative outlet through which the manifested glory of God is made visible. We exist to be a creative outlet through which the manifest glory of God is visible. And the only thing holding us back is ourselves. Ernest says, you exist that divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. The Spirit comes to you with new and fresh creativity. You need not ask what others have done or how they have done it. Be yourself and let life express as you find it. Be yourself and let life express itself as you find it. Work on removing the limiting beliefs. Work on removing our past conditions and past experiences that have gotten us to a place where we are limiting the creative flow of energy through us. Well, how do you get rid of these beliefs? Well, this is through our spiritual practices again. This is through spending time contemplating, journaling, reflecting on them. This is time spent in prayer. And we have one of the most powerful tools imaginable out there. When you can't know that truth about the situation for yourself, we have wonderful individuals who can know it for you. Our practitioners are always available to know the truth for you. Sometimes we're stuck in a condition and we can't get past the condition to see any other possibility out there. But these beloveds who have studied and practiced and worked on these ideas for many, many, many years can do it for you. So call them up. Our prayer practitioners are listed on our website. We also have a place on our website where you can request prayer, and it goes out to our entire practitioner corps, our entire ecclesiastical corps, actually. Even the ministers are on this one too. So reach out. Let us know what you need prayer for. Where are those areas in your lives that you are having difficulty seeing the truth, getting past some of the experiences that you've had in your life to understand that there's a different possibility available to you. This will help you unblock that creative flow of energy within you and allow you to see more openly the possibilities that are available for you through this magnificent connection that you have with Spirit. You know, this is our opportunity to let creativity express through each one of us. And when we do that, we not only bless ourselves, but the entire world is blessed when you are in the flow of this creative dynamic force that we call life. All right, so let's take these ideas into prayer. It is through our practice of prayer, we call it spiritual mind treatment. It is a way of recognizing the truth that we know, aligning ourselves with that truth, speaking truth about the conditions that we are wishing to change, giving thanks and letting it go. So I invite you now to turn within with me in consciousness as we tap into that indwelling presence. So right here and right now, I know that there is only one thing, one power, one presence, one dynamic, creative, loving intelligence. I know that this one exists without any limits, without any boundaries. It is timeless. It is endless. It is all-encompassing and all-pervading. I know this one as Spirit, as that love intelligence that has brought forth everything into existence through its own energy, through its own creative thought, through its own divine essence. This amazing Spirit has created. It has brought all of the universes we see, all of the worlds, all of the planets, and everything that inhabits it, from the smallest creature to the most magnificent. Everything is a creative expression of the One. And because I know that there is only one, I know that I am one with it. I know that loving and creative intelligence resides right at the very heart of my being. It brought me into existence. It is living itself through me, expressing itself as me in all that I am and all that I do. And because I know this is true for me, I know this is true for all life. I know that each and every one of us is that unique and perfect emanation of that creative love intelligence. I know that we are all a microcosm of the magnificent and all-encompassing Spirit. And so realizing this, I speak my word. I know that right here and right now, there is within each one of us a creative urge waiting to be expressed. I know it is expressed beautifully and easily and effortlessly when we are willing to say yes. When we release our limiting beliefs, our fear, our ideas of lack and limitation, our ideas of I can't do this. When we let that go and we allow that amazing eternal presence to move through us, magnificent beauty is birthed. It is birthed through each and every one of us at all times. And I just give great thanks for this knowing. I'm so grateful to feel it, to know it, to see it in operation. I am so grateful to experience the magnificent creativity that is all around me. And I just release this word into that creative law that always says yes, that knows no limits itself, that always responds in the affirmative. I let it go and I let it be. And so it is. Amen.